This is episode number 2 of the Christopher Bagot Show on the Annandale Football Channel. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this video. We're going to have a quick discussion with the D-line coach of the Annandale Adams, Shane Doty. Here it is for you. Thanks for your time.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Second year with the team, your overall thoughts as coach for the Adams?
It's more challenging than I thought, but it's also really rewarding. I think there's a lot of things that I didn't consider before becoming coach that I really getting to experience and enjoy. The aspect of really getting to meet all the kids and really meeting young men that are really great. And, I think really overall it's been really wonderful. I've enjoyed it. I think that it's helped me grow in my own personal life and appreciate the experience that I had to be able to take what I learned playing football for over 12 years, and being able to hopefully instill a little bit of it, but particularly the life lessons that's allowed me to be somewhat successful in adult life. So hopefully instill some of that stuff and pass it on to these kids.
Right. I would like to ask you this. You were a former Adam as well, class of 2009.
Yeah.
Tell me about when you were a player with the Adams.
When I was a player, it was fun. I mean, it was feverish almost, the passion I think that a lot of the guys that I played with had. It was something that was instilled when I was a freshman. We looked up to the varsity guys, the seniors and whatnot, and we looked at them like they were superstars. They were in the papers every Saturday, and it was like, when is it going to be my time to be in the papers? When do they get to write articles about me? And it was really something. It was a special time to be an Adam, and the coaching staff was all stars, and I credit pretty much any success I've had to that staff. Jeremiah Davis, Coach Adams, Coach Bagot, helping with wide receivers, just great all around. So I had an all-star cast of coaches.
I know you got to go, sir, and thank you for your time. One more question for you. How do you attack coaching? How do you try to instill what needs to be done? What is your process?
I think I attack it with curiosity. I think that the thing that a lot is overlooked is the kids understanding, especially in coaching nowadays, is that it's a sport of inches and there's a lot of technique that goes into it, but it's also a sport that you can be passionate about at a very technical level. And so just instilling a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of fire, a little bit of passion about your craft. I kind of want the way of the samurai, particularly for the defensive line, is that, listen, we're going to be developing tools and there's going to be situations that we can use it, and that if we do our jobs, we will be successful. I talk to them and say that we're the pack leaders. Yes. That where we go, the rest of the team will go. So when we're successful, the rest of the team will be successful.
Tell us about how he got involved with the program.
So Shane Doty was a football player when I first started coaching, and I think he was like a sophomore on varsity my first year, and he was one of the biggest dudes out there. And I remember Coach Scott had a nickname for him. He called him the Duke. Although he was big, he wasn't quite as aggressive yet. And each year he got a little better and a little better and a little better. And by his senior year, he was a dominant player. Went on to play at Fort Union Military Academy, and then from there was a D1 player at South Alabama. Shane brings a ton of energy. As he moved back to the area, he was able to get freed up. I tried to get him a few years ago, wasn't going to work out. Or Coach Scott tried to get him, and then we got him in last year. And him and Coach Dodd kind of double teamed on the defensive line. Yes. This year, he brings a ton of energy. He's very knowledgeable. He's always trying to run stunts and teaching his guys the correct hand placements and things like that. He's been a great addition. He helps with our JV, helps with our varsity. He's a big guy, yes. So the kids definitely got to respect him, not like me, a little pipsqueak, like, what do you know? When Coach Doty's out there, you're going to listen to him because he's so big, and he's great. We called him Marmaduke because he was almost a gentle giant. You still see that now.
Correct.
His fiance is working in the building. He's living in the neighborhood. So a great addition to the staff, a great guy to have, and has really added a lot to Annandale football.
What does it mean for you, these coaches coming back and helping you out when they're in the building, building the relationships with the students? What type of impact does that lead to you?
That's one thing I value in our program, is that we're going to have good people around you and people that care. And so many of our coaches are former players, and that's where I was. And I worked for Coach Scott and Coach Adams, and Coach Scott did the same thing, having worked for Coach Hardage and Coach Adams, and then Coach Adams the same thing. So it's kind of been a tradition that's passed on, that here at Annandale High School, this is something that means something. It's worth working forward to or working together with. It is special, and it's something you want to come back to, and that's something that you're proud of, that you are a part of. And it means the world to me to be a coach here. It means the world that I got Coach Days, Coach Lopez, Coach Doty working with me, and they want to help me out. It's really cool, and I think it makes Annandale a special place.
Yes. First time in 4 decades that Coach Nick Adams is not coaching in the high school football scene. And he comes to the practices. What is the conversation like between the two of you?
Coach Adams is always a fun guy to bounce a few ideas off of, and he's super helpful in every way. And we've had 2 rough games so far, and we've got to get better. And he was one of the few people that's, well, not really one of the few, but he's one of many people that's reached out and said, hey, the program's in good hands. I trust you. And yes, this is a hard time. And in that time, people are going to look to the head coach to be a leader. And he had faith in me to try to lead these guys, and that's what I'm trying to do. I wish we'd gotten off to a better start right now, and we got a heck of a task in front of us this week with Hayfield.
Yeah.
But I see the progress. I think we saw the progress in the film against Washington Liberty. And, Coach Adams, Coach Scott, all the coaches from the past, they're a huge resource for me.
Yes. Great. And we're going to talk about Hayfield in a moment, but talk to me about Coach Scott as well. Has he been able to help you out?
Coach Scott's awesome. He's still a teacher here at Annandale High School, working in the personal fitness, PE. I talk to him probably every other day, and we have our conversations we can keep to ourselves, because I think with Coach Adams and Coach Scott, they know everything that goes into being a head coach, and until you become one, you don't know what you don't know. And that's one advice Coach Scott told me was, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm finding out how much I don't know probably every day. But, we're here to get better. Coach Scott's a great resource for me, and a great guy. And there's probably nobody that's done more for me professionally than Coach Adams and Coach Scott, as far as getting me in here, teaching me how to be a coach, teaching me how to be a teacher, teaching me how to be a mentor to young men.
Great. Let's talk about Hayfield now. They are very vaunted. A new coach, Daryl Overton, a couple of players new to the program. What are the keys to a victory for the Adams?
Where we killed ourselves last week was jumping off sides. We can't hurt ourselves. This might be the most talented team in the state. Watch it on film. They get to the ball. They're a physical team. They're fast. They're very, very good. And the hype is real. Having watched that, we got our work cut out for us. In order for us to be successful from one play to the next, we got to make sure that we aren't doing anything to mess up. And I think we have a good plan where we can try to get our best players the ball, which is always the key to success, and hopefully they can make a play for us.
And Coach Bagot, a great week of practice leads to a great drive in the 43-3 loss to the Generals. A great drive, couple of runs by Brian Sopp, as well as Thomas Niels, led to a 34-yard field goal.
Yeah, that drive had everything that kills you as a football coach and makes you happy and proud as a football coach. Started off with a couple runs to Brian. Best we'd blocked power all year. Pops one for 14, goes for 2, and then rolls his ankle, and we're like, uh-oh, what are we going to do?
Yes.
Thomas had just got back from an injury, so we were going to try to bring him in slowly, and we had to put him in the next play. We were able to pop another one with Thomas for like 14 or 15 yards, and then we jump off sides, which is a big no-no, and it was a wide receiver. An Annandale football player is supposed to be disciplined. Mm-hmm. Never jump off sides, and that's one of our golden rules. And to lose a play and then another one later in the drive for false starts absolutely killed me. But then we turn around and get a penalty called for pass interference. We pick up 15 yards. We're backed up again. We got a 3rd and 18, and our quarterback makes something out of nothing. Scrambles for 18 yards, and it's again the ebbs and flows of the game, and we saw it just in that drive where we're taking 2 steps forward and then we're doing something to hurt ourselves, and we're taking 2 steps forward, doing something to hurt ourselves, taking 2 steps forward, and we do it again.
Yes.
And then we get Carlos in there at the end, get him a couple runs, and then we forget to block power, even though we did it great in the beginning of the drive.
Yes.
And we have to settle for a field goal. And the funny story about that is Kevin Quinteros is our kicker, and he borrowed a ball from me on Wednesday.
Yes.
And said, "Coach, can I borrow a football?" And I remember thinking, like, do I really want to give this kid a ball? They're like $90. And he goes, "Coach, I just want to practice my kicking." And I said,
Yes.
"Okay, sure." So he calls me up later that night and says, "Coach, watch this video I'm sending you." And in that video, he hit a 35-yarder. So in that video, I was like, all right, I know this kid's been practicing. I know it means a lot to him. And I know he's got the leg. So I don't think normally I would have ever even attempted a 34-yard field goal. But we gave Kevin a shot. He drilled it. The sideline went crazy like we won the game. Hopefully we can have some more moments like that, some more success and more sustained success. But again, I think that's the first field goal we've kicked in Annandale football in 3 or 4 years successfully.
Correct.
So it was a big moment. It was good. And again, like, we did so many good things on that drive. But there's also 4 or 5 things that we can point to where we block our basic play wrong, where we jump off sides that we need to improve on. And that's kind of a microcosm of our season. When we do something right, we usually do something wrong to eliminate what we just did.
Yes.
And we just got to get better at being disciplined, all right, and executing what we're supposed to do. It's not like we're running anything super fancy. We're running the same basic plays. We just got to make sure we can execute them.
A great thing that you mentioned, the young man Kevin, is he a sophomore or a junior, and what are your thoughts on his progress throughout the offseason and through the first 2 games of the season?
Junior for us. He's played some center. He's been our punter. He's been our kicker. And our kickoff guy. He's done great. Calls me all the time to make sure the locker room's open so he can grab his computer out of there. He's a conscientious kid. He's doing a great job, and he's a great representation of Annandale High School.
We watched a little bit of the Commanders game, a 20-37 loss in Tampa.
Yeah. I'm a huge Commanders fan. That's my favorite team. The film work that we do kind of takes up all Saturday, so I don't really get to watch a lot of college, but I always make sure I catch the Commanders game. And there was a lot of good things. I love seeing Jaden Daniels run around a little bit. Maybe wish he threw the ball a little more. But Tampa looked good. I look forward to the Commanders bouncing back, maybe just like the Adams can bounce back in week 2.
Yeah, against the Giants on Sunday. One thing to keep note for the Commanders, a lot more rushing yards than the Buccaneers, thanks to the legs of Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. And Ali, I want to thank you. In case you guys didn't know, Ali worked his first game with CBS Sports this weekend, was up at Annapolis on the game coverage, and that's an awesome opportunity. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ali, on the new gig.
Thank you very much. It was a Temple Navy game. I was a runner, so low on the totem pole. I was surprised there was not a lot of young folks in the building. It was like one tech guy who was in his mid-20s like me. Everybody else was just, old timers, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. So Ali working from the bottom, will be at the top soon.